Hello, and welcome to Voices in Education. I am your host, Natasha Lee. Hello and welcome to Voices in Education. This evening, we're having a conversation about Shericka's 200 meters win and how that win teaches us a valuable lesson about bouncing back. And of course, I am going to encourage you to join in on this conversation so that we can, learn the lesson from this in terms of bouncing back from a disappointment, failure. And so, what does that look like? What lessons can we take away from Shericka's 200 meters win in the context of Shericka being placed second in the 100 meters? And so, we want to have that conversation in terms of, lesson, takeaway, because in life, we can take lessons from just about any and everything. And so I would love for you to share in on this conversation. And I'm going to get that number on screen for you. There you go. You should be seeing that WhatsApp number on screen. So you can call via WhatsApp. So the number is right there on your screen, or you can share away in the live chat. Either way, I would love to hear from you. If this is your first time here, please comment in the live chat. I would love to give you a big Voices in Education welcome. So let me know in the live chat. Let's share this live right now and let's get the conversation going as it relates to what lesson we can take away from Shericka's win in the 200 meters right there in Budapest. And I was told it is Budapest because the Jamaicans are doing so well there, and not just Jamaica, but other countries too. And so it's more like a festival. All right. And so again, welcome. Please remember to give this video a like, share with friends and family members, and encourage them to come on over right now, and be a part of this important conversation. Voices in Education is a safe space where we can share and learn from each other. And so I am asking you to share. I would love to hear from you. And of course, later on, very soon, I'll be joined by my co-host, Rurian. So I'm looking forward to that. And he always, brings he takes some gems. He's always dropping some gems here. And so I would love to hear from him. And so if you're just tuning in, I'm just waiting for this live to build up to get this conversation going. But this is an important conversation that we should have in the context of Shericka Jackson's win in Budapest in the 200 meters. And so we want to take away this valuable lesson about bouncing back from disappointment, failure, bouncing back from tough situations. What can we take away from Shericka's victory there? And this World Championships, I believe it is filled with so many lessons. And we spoke about the 100 meters previously in another in a previous episode. And so that is something that you can go back there and listen. But right now, the focus is on Shericka Jackson. So Shericka is the world champion, and Shericka broke her own record that she set last year and set a new record this year, right there in Budapest. So if you're just new to this space, welcome. Welcome to the Voices in Education. This is a safe space where we share and learn from each other. Please hit that like button as well. Don't forget to just close your live chat for a bit and give this video a like. Let's share it like food. We're all about positive vibes. and positivity. So right now, let me see in the live chat, congratulations to Shericka Jackson. So we want to start that way. Let's send Shericka Jackson some congratulatory messages. So I would love to see that right now in the live chat. But of course, I want to hear from you. We want to, have that conversation with each other. So I would love to hear from you as it relates to what lesson we can take away from Shericka Jackson's win in Budapest. What can we take away from that win? And again, the WhatsApp number is right there on your screen. So I would love to hear from you as it relates to that. And I guess I could start the conversation by saying, but first, I want to see some congratulatory messages going in the live chat. Congratulations to Shericka. So we want to start that way. Congratulations to Shericka Jackson. And again, it's all about the black, green, and gold, right? So let us just send right now some congratulatory messages to Shericka. Let's place that in the live chat. And again, if this is your first time here, welcome. Welcome to the Voices in Education. Welcome to this safe space where it's about sharing and learning from each other. I'm seeing Carlos there saying, hola. Hola, Carlos, Top Shelf Boss is in the house, Mr. Oxtail himself. And I am seeing KG. Welcome. So we have Carlos and Kayla and Carlos and Kayla. And KG is right there saying congratulations, definitely. I would love to hear from you, Kayla. And I would love to hear from you, Carlos, as well. And Carlos is saying congrats, Cher, and definitely she deserves all the congratulations or the congratulatory messages right now. So let's keep this chat going. I am seeing Demon saying hello, welcome to this space. This is a safe space where we can share and learn together. So welcome. Please remember to hit that like button. Let's hit that like button and let's share this live right now. And let's get this conversation going. Of course, I would like to hear from you as it relates to that topic this evening. Shericka's 200 meters win and how that teaches us a valuable lesson about bouncing back. And we're having this conversation in the context of what happened in the 100 meters. And we know the results of that. Shericka was placed second. And we can look at that in, multiple ways in terms of a disappointment. So going in there with a real leading time, for example, how does that make you feel? And I'm seeing here, big up yourself, Cousin Cher. All right, Carlos. And Cousin is proud of you. Of course, Carlos, why not? Some oxtail will be running, I'm sure. And Kayla is saying, yes, Carlos, we would like to hear from you. Absolutely. And I would like to hear from you too, Kayla. So Cher is now my cousin, by the way, guys. Absolutely. Why not? Why not? And she attended Vertec, right? Carlos, you can correct me on that one. I believe so. Yeah. And so we are saying, congratulations to Shericka Jackson. But at the same time, we want to take away the lesson or lessons that we can take away from this 200 meters event there in Budapest, where Shericka was victorious in that event. And so, as I was saying, one of the things I would start out by saying is that sometimes we need to remove ourselves from the spotlight, especially in, these types of contexts. And I say this on the basis that I heard Shericka, I guess, a clip of an interview that she did. And she was saying that after the 100 meters, she stayed off the media. And I took that to mean social media. So she stayed off the media to refocus. And, you know, she had a talk with her coach, and the coach was saying, you know, the 100 meters, you know, it's in the past. So focus on the future. And that to me was a very good takeaway in that moment, because we cannot control what is done in the past. The past is just the past. We cannot control that, right? We cannot control that, but we can definitely learn from that and try to use that in terms of preparing for the future. And so that is important. So I'm just trying to look at the chat here. And I am, yeah, Carlos is saying, I think so. I think very technical, yes. And you know, we went to sixth form together in the same class. Oh, wow, Kayla, I definitely want to hear from you. I definitely want to add Carlos is agreeing there. Oh my God, I definitely want to hear from you in that regard. If you're just tuning in, welcome to this safe space. Please remember to give this video a like, share with friends and family members, and encourage them right now to come on over and be a part of this important conversation. You can join in the conversation in the live chat by sharing, or you can phone the WhatsApp number that you see on screen. And I would definitely like to hear from you, viewers, listeners. We want to hear from each other. And I'm seeing more and more genius here saying blessings, everyone. Blessings to you too, more and more genius. Thanks for coming over. And so in the context of this conversation, we started out by saying, you know, sometimes we need to remove ourselves from the spotlight, you know, from the crowd. Sometimes we need a moment for ourselves just to refocus. So in the context of Shericka now, you know, say bouncing back from that 100 meters disappointment, she needed to do what she needed to do for herself. And that might mean, you know, moving away from the media, social media, and just trying to refocus, trying to understand that what is in the past is in the past, and we cannot do anything to change what has already happened in the past. And so it is important for us to use the past as a learning experience to prepare for the future, because in some way we can, you know, plan, or in some way, I don't want to use the word control, but I would say prepare for the future, because sometimes going into the future, we have plans, we have expectations, similar to how I believe all the ladies went into that 100 meters run. They had, you know, hopes, expectations. No one lined up to lose. And so in that context, you know, we can prepare. But in the midst of disappointment, sometimes we need to, you know, just brush ourselves off and try again. You know, there's a song like that. If first you don't succeed, yeah, where are my singers? You know, you can definitely try again. And so, you know, we just need to level and just have this conversation and just talk. And as I was talking last evening on a live there with about Antonio Watson, I would like to see or just hear from the person who has never made a mistake in life. I would like to hear from this person, because, and so with mistakes, we just need to learn from them. And so in the context now of Shericka, you know, just being resilient, and that's just the ability to bounce back from difficult, you know, conditions, you know, to recover quickly. She did just that in terms of, you know, trying to recover from that 100 meters, you know, disappointment, and trying to show up in a very big way in the 200 meters final. And so for that, we're saying kudos to you, Shericka. You did awesome. You did very well in terms of bouncing back. But that event, what Shericka did, is a valuable lesson to all of us in how we view disappointments in how we approach, planning for the future in terms of, what we have experienced in the past. And so it is important for us to sometimes understand that, we need to give ourselves sometimes some time and some space in terms of, moving forward. And so that is important as well. If you're just tuning in, welcome. Welcome to this safe space. Welcome to the Voices in Education. I would love to hear from you. We're having a conversation about Shericka's 200 meters win and how that teaches us a valuable lesson about bouncing back from disappointments or failures. If this is your first time here, welcome to this space. Please remember to hit that like button and of course that subscription button. You can definitely bank on it because guess what? You are safe with Voices in Education. This is a safe space and we share and learn from each other. I'm just looking in the live chat and I am seeing more genius is saying Pink song try epitomizes this situation. Okay, awesome. I'm trying to think about those lyrics right now in my head. It's not coming. So if you could just type out some of our place that lyrics in the chat, that would be awesome. More genius or anyone else, let us know. And so, just going back to some of the lessons that we can take away from Shericka's 200 meters win there, is to understand that sometimes disappointments, failures will happen, right? They will happen. Sometimes we can prepare so much, right, for the future or for an event. And, you go, for example, in a race, you see athletes pulling up and so those things, no one is planning for that. But in those moments, we just have to accept that it's a part of the journey, right? And so what we need to do is to really bounce back from those contexts, from those situations, right? And so that is important in terms of how you react to a disappointment or a failure will help in terms of determining how you move forward, right? And so if it is that you're going to use it to bury yourself, then it's going to be hard to just get up and try again, right? And so we need to understand that. And so in some contexts, we need to just try to understand the lessons as it relates to that particular disappointment or failure. In Jamaica, we say, boy, hot but ush, right? Let's try and learn from it, right? And so that is important. And then in terms of, I would say, being placed in a negative spot or just having this experience in disappointments or failures, we need to do our own introspection, our own reflection as it relates to the failure. So what caused this, trying to address the root cause of the problem in terms of preparing to move forward. So just trying to analyze the context of what happened, right? And so sometimes we need to do that before we can definitely try again, dust off and, try again. So we need to take that time to identify, causes, of a failure or a disappointment to see how best we can work on that. So probably with Shericka, it might be okay. Just think about the 100 meters and how that ended. It might be okay in a race. And once I am, ahead of persons, I can't see behind me. So I just need to just run, right? And so that is important. So we need to analyze that, not saying that that was the case, but just trying to use that as an example here. And so In those contexts, we need to try and figure out, what caused this problem? What caused the disappointment? What caused the failure? Why am I here? What caused it? In terms of preparing, what can I learn from this in terms of moving forward? So that is definitely important there. All right. So I'm just checking in the live chat here. And I'm seeing more and more geniuses. I guess this is a song from Pink. Where there is desire, there is gonna be a flame. Where there is a flame, someone's bound to get burned. But just because it burns doesn't mean you're gonna die. You gotta get up and try and try and try. Definitely. Gotta get up and try and try and try. Well, thanks more genius for putting that there. And that is definitely on point there, more genius, in the sense where, just because it burns, right, doesn't mean you're gonna die. And we can't bury ourselves, right? We need to just, learn, find out what is the cause of this particular failure, what is the cause of this disappointment, and try to use that to prepare ourselves for the future. And again, we can prepare so much and no more, because there are always some unforeseen circumstances sometimes, or events that can happen that we were not expecting. But we need to give ourselves that space and grace, understanding that it's a part of life's journey, and how we react to it will determine how we move on. It will determine our success too, depending on the nature of the event. Because if Shericka was like, oh, I didn't win this 100, and she allowed that to pretty much deflate her in terms of her confidence, in terms of her abilities to say, I am not good enough, then it could be a situation where she did not do well in the 200 meters. But it might be a way where Shericka reacted to say, well, I know that I could have done it, and this was the cause. And so because I am confident in my abilities to move forward, this is what I am going to do. I am going to refocus. I'm not going to go on the media right now. I'm going to refocus, and I am going to get that gold in the 200 meters, which she did. And so again, that is a valuable lesson in terms of bouncing back from adversity, how we react, right? And so far I've been mentioning just ours. So how we react is necessary. So that reaction will determine if we allow ourselves to sink or if we allow ourselves to rise. And so that is important. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the Voices in Education. This is a safe space where we share and learn from each other. I would love to hear from you. We're talking about Shericka's 200 meters win there in Budapest, and how that is teaching us a valuable lesson about bouncing back from disappointments or failures. Just got some water there. I would love to hear from you. So you can comment in the live chat again. You can see the WhatsApp number there on your screen. You can definitely call in. Please remember to give this video a like. Just close the chat a bit and give this video a like. Share with friends and family members, and encourage them to come on over and be a part of this important conversation. I know I have some silent supporters here, and you're listening. That's okay. We're not forcing you to talk, but we'd love to hear from you. And if this is your first time, I would love for you to comment in the live chat so I can give you a warm Voices in Education welcome. And so, I would love to hear from you. So again, we're talking about Shericka's 200 meters win there in Budapest, and how that is teaching us a valuable lesson about bouncing back from disappointments or failures, you know? So I would love to hear from you if you have experienced, you know, a disappointment or failure and how you reacted to that. You can share in the live chat. I would definitely love to hear from you. I believe I am getting a caller, so I'm just going to go to some music to get this caller online, so just stay tuned. Hello and welcome if you're just tuning in. Welcome to another live conversation. And this evening we're talking about Shericka's 200 meters win there in Budapest and how that teaches us a valuable lesson about bouncing back. So right now I have my co-host joining live. Hello, Rurian.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm really good. I'm happy that, Jamaica struck another gold, the World Championship. That's another, yesterday I started out that golden feeling and I've continued and we hope that it will continue with the rest of the championship. I want to say a warm good night to all of the persons who are on night and sorry to just be joining, but life happens sometimes and we have to just get some stuff sorted out. But I couldn't wait to be here, to join in on this conversation. Shericka Jackson did awesome result today.
Absolutely, definitely. So I'm seeing Anne-Marie Brown there in the live chat saying congratulations, Shericka, and definitely. So Ruren, we're talking about, some valuable lessons in terms of Shericka's win there in Budapest and bouncing back. What would you like to share in this context?
Well, I watched the race. I got to watch the race live today, and just the way how Shericka came out focused, she's even focused on her face. It shows that if you want to get your goals, want to achieve your goals, then you have to focus on your target. And that's what she did. She came out with a no nonsense attitude and she delivered. So I think that's a good lesson to learn from this situation, that whatever goal you're focused on, you should, put your all into it to make sure that you're focused right throughout.
Definitely, and that is important, and that's what I mentioned earlier in the context that sometimes, after a disappointment, we need to just remove ourselves from, sometimes spotlights and just take a moment and refocus, re-strategize in terms of moving forward. And so I like that you highlighted that point again there. And so that is definitely important there in that context. So what is your take on, I know a lot of kids, they see this, and just in life in general, we experience, disappointments, failures. And so what would you say in terms of that context and how we move forward?
Well, for me, talking to kids or, anybody at all, I sharing with in context like those, I would only say to them a few words, and these would be the few words that I would say. You only lose when you give up.
Definitely.
So whatever you haven't achieved, means that you just work a little bit harder or re-strategize in order to, achieve that goal.
Definitely. I tell you, you're always just dropping some gems here on the Voices in Education. And so that is important for you to share there, that, you only lose when you give up. And that is so important. Do you want to expand on that?
Well, I could expand on this more. Well, whatever task, whatever goal that you have, just be persistent. And, if you check history, most persons who are really successful, they have put in a lot of work. Keep on trying, never give up, have that never give up mentality. And that is why they have achieved what they have achieved. I always say this, never say something is easy until you have tried it. So, you might see somebody doing something that you think is easy, but because they have their ways of doing it, their specific strategies that makes them efficient. So it's the same thing with everything else in life. You have to find your own path, your own way of executing stuff in order to be successful.
Definitely. And I like that because that ties in nicely in the context that, in terms of bouncing back, you need to create a plan, right? You need to have something in place in terms of re-strategizing, refocusing. You need to know, what it is that you would probably can accept, what things that you can't change. And again, I'll go back to how you react to that disappointment or failure, because as I said, something that is already done in the past is something that you have no control over. And when I listened to Shericka, and Shericka was saying that, I spoke to coach and coach said to me, we just need to move on. That is over. The 100 is done. Yeah. Let's look at the 200 meters. So we see that, that is important there. Angela Knox, welcome to the Voices in Education. And Angela is saying, welcome, Angela. Our panty queen. Met girl, know that you're in. Definitely right there for Angie, right there for Angela. Welcome to the Voices in Education. And on the phone, we have Ruren right now. And Ruren is sharing with us in this context of bouncing back. I'm getting a bit of feedback there from you, Ruren, but I know you have the kids there, so we understand on this side. And so in that context, we're talking about, bouncing back, just creating a plan, having some idea of how we want to move forward. So that is definitely important there.
For sure. So, you have to, like, strange enough, you have to look at it from both perspectives. You sometimes losing is your greatest learning experience. You can learn so much from losing. And maybe that's not the best way to state it, but whenever you lose, you have to learn the lesson. There's a lesson. And I think in this situation with Shericka, that 100-meter race that she rocked the final which is she learned a lesson. And I would love if people could just reflect on that race or even go back to watch it and look at her reflection. She was totally swept off her feet by the performance of Dakar. And she knew she had what it took to win that race. But she didn't execute the race as efficiently as she could. And she made up her mind that the 200, she's not going to make that mistake. And she has, re-strategized, refocused, and she has executed.
Definitely. And again, that ties in with what, I mentioned it like earlier in this conversation to say that we need to identify, what has caused the failure, the disappointment in terms of moving forward, because that too is important. So if it is that we can identify the source of the problem, then we're better able to prepare a plan in terms of avoiding that same issue, right? In terms of moving forward. So, and I made mention to the fact that if it's a case where you can't see behind you and you decide to say, okay, I need to run, as opposed to being there comfortable, not knowing who is coming, and then allowing someone to just fly past you or run past you. So that is also important there.
For sure. So we just need to, be mindful and be aware of what is happening to us, especially in a situation like this where we have competition. Just to be aware of what is happening to us. And, to look at it from different standpoints as well. You can look at it from your how you strategize, what you did well, what you didn't do well, and work on the areas so that whenever you get that, you can, represent yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sometimes, for some people, failure or disappointment, may feel like it's the end of everything, but it's not the end of the world. And again, it's how we are reacting to that, how we are understanding what has happened, and how we are really positioning ourselves to move forward. Because if it is that we are not able to if it is that we're not able to allow ourselves space and grace to understand the context, to understand that we cannot control what is in the past, then that is going to be a bit difficult in terms of how quickly we bounce back from, adversity, from failure, from disappointment. What's your take on that, Rurian?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You have to, recognize where you are in order to make any form of adjustment to anything in that regard. So I totally concur with you.
Awesome. So right now we're going to just go to some music and we'll be back just right after the music. I'm giving you the opportunity right now to share this live with friends and family members and encourage them to come on over and be a part of this important conversation. So we're going to just go to some music right now and come right back to this conversation. So we're talking about, Shericka's 200 meters win there in Budapest and how that is teaching us a valuable lesson about bouncing back. So bouncing back from disappointment, failure, and so that is an important conversation that we're having. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please remember to just give this video a like and let's share and encourage others to come over and be a part of this safe space. Remember, you can also participate in this conversation in the live chat, or you can phone the WhatsApp number that you see on screen. So please stay tuned. Hello and welcome. If you're just tuning in, welcome to another important conversation. So we're having a conversation about Shericka's 200 meters win there in Budapest and how that is teaching us a valuable lesson about bouncing back from disappointment or failure. And so I would love to hear from you. If this is your first time here, please remember to give this video a like, share with friends and family members, and encourage them to come on over and be a part of this safe space. I have with me on phone Rurian. Rurian, are you still here and hearing me? Rurian, we're not.
Yes, I'm still here you, loud and clear.
Awesome, Rurian. So I'm seeing more and more genius there in the live chat saying like. I believe you liked the video. Thank you so much. Please remember to like this video. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscription button. Voices in Education is a safe space where we share and learn from each other. We also have a goal to continue to support students. So every like, subscription helps Voices in Education to continue with that, goal of supporting students. So don't be afraid to share in the live chat. If you'd like to call in, you can call that WhatsApp number that you see on screen. So right now I have with me Rurian, and we have been talking about, bouncing back from adversity or disappointment in the context of Shericka's 200 meters run. knowing what happened in the 100 meters. And so it is important. We spoke about, removing yourself from the spotlight. And I mentioned that in the context of what Shericka said, that, she stayed off the media just to take the time to refocus. So that was important. So removing ourselves from the spotlight, refocusing, and that refocusing was necessary in the context of becoming the 200 meters champion, world champion again. And so what we also mentioned is that how we react to a disappointment or failure will determine how quickly we bounce back or if we bounce back. And so that is important to understand as well. So Shericka also mentioned that, coach came and, gave her a talk. And so, the 100 is over. We need to focus on the 200 meters now. And so that talk from Coach Francis was necessary in the sense that sometimes we're so focused on the disappointment, on the past, something that we cannot control, something that we cannot change, right? Because it happened already, that we lose sight of the future in terms of taking the lesson or the lessons, and moving forward. And again, we need to understand also in terms of moving forward, what are the issues that cause this problem, that cause this disappointment, that cause this failure? How can I prevent this from happening again if I have that control, or what can I learn from this to ensure that this does not happen again? And so that was important, I believe, in that context of bouncing back. And we look at Shericka's run and we noticed that she went out and hard, like she was running against that clock. And so that was important. And Rurian mentioned that, you only lose when you give up. That's the time you lose. And that ties back into how you react to disappointment or you react to a failure. And so if Shericka had decided that I am not good enough, I am not able to do this, and if she allowed that 100-meter second place to just cause her to feel as if, I should have won, the focus would not have been on the 200 meters. And so it was, okay, I need to let this go. It hurt but hush, that kind of moment. I need to let this go and I need to, move forward. And so you only lose when you give up. And that's another gem there from Rurian, you only lose when you give up. And so I believe more genius type there in the text that, Pink song Try epitomizes this situation in the context of bouncing back, and shared some of the lyrics there in the live chat. So where there's a desire, there is gonna be a flame, and that is so important. If it is that we have that desire to move forward, that desire to say, okay, this happened in the past, we cannot take this along with us. Don't allow your past to become a beating stick where you use your past and you just beat yourself. We need to move on. We need to have that desire to move forward, right? Where there's a flame, someone's bound to get burned, but just because it burns doesn't mean you're gonna die, right? And so that's life. Life is a journey. We have ups and downs, we win some, we lose some, but that does not mean when we're losing or if we have experienced disappointment or we experience disappointment that we need to sink. We don't need to cover up ourselves and die, right? What we need to do is to just try. We just gotta try, get up and try and try and try. So those are some great words there from Pink. And if you're just tuning in, welcome to this conversation about, bouncing back, from disappointment, from failure. And we're talking about that in the context of Shericka's 200 meters run there or win there in Budapest. And we love to say Budapest. So right now, Rurian, I've been talking. I'm just going to come over to you. Let us hear from you, Rurian.
Oh, thank you for, yes. So, um, yeah, it's a lot to learn from this run by Sherry. A lot to learn from it. Because, even that song that you just mentioned there, that moment you shared, Jamaicans will ask, "Keep on, Shericka, when Shaka, But the coach dealt with that situation really well. I told her this disengage herself from social media. Not sure the coach told her that, but she knew that she needed to do that and focus on what to come. And as I mentioned earlier too, we have to just learn the lessons. So she made a mistake, or she didn't perform as well as she hoped to. So she needed to just reflect on what she did, take the learning experience from that, or the lesson from that, and try to do better in her next run. And I think that's what she did. But kudos to her. She is the second fastest woman in 200 meters, and she is taking off she's eating away at that record that is there
just
for
1 second away, right? 1 second away.
I'm not sure.
I believe
I'm not sure how far she is away, but
I believe
she's
so.
heading in the right direction. And it's so amazing though. Like, I'm going to go back to her 100 meter run. I'm thinking she ran the race for, I think she probably ran that race hard for about 95% of it. And as soon as she let loose, loosened up, stop focusing, then she loses out to somebody who is focused. And that's so life is sometimes. When you don't do your best, sometimes somebody will surpass you. So, coming back to the 200-meter run, she was totally focused. And as you mentioned earlier, she was just running.
Yeah, definitely. I think
totally
yeah, I think she ran what 21:41, and the record is like 3 something. So a second out. Yeah. Yes.
I'm not sure what the record is, but that's something that probably look at.
Yeah, I think the record is like, so Shericka ran like 21:41. So, and the record is
I don't think she's out by a whole second, but
probably a second. Yeah, but yeah, give and take about that. You mentioned, Jamaicans, and I think this is a good way to bring this in before we wrap up this conversation here. Jamaicans, probably say why, Jamaicans are probably disappointed that Shericka did not win the 100 meters. So in the context of this 200 meters now, how do you believe that Jamaicans can bounce back? Do you think they have bounced back with this 200 meters win by Shericka?
You're making reference to the fans?
Yes, like Jamaicans, yes, on a whole, yeah. Jamaicans are like, why we should I get that, So now that Shericka has won the 200 meters, do you believe that the country or the fans, they have bounced back too with this 200-meter win?
I think, yes, I think it's kind of bittersweet, they know that she has the potential to have double, in terms of winning both the sprint events, 100 and 200. And I think that's where the little bitter feel would be coming from, or bitter taste. But I'm sure everybody is up in arms with her for the way she performed today, and they're saying, as Jamaicans, I saw you have to deal with things long time, man. They're joke around with the first. So, you know, I think she has regained a lot of confidence in her fans and Jamaicans and all. And as you rightly said, it's good to know that she could have come and bounce back in such a resounding way
Yeah.
and dismiss a quality skill like that. I heard one sports analyst said that the race looked like Shericka was running with him, and he's probably this so he said that the race looked like Shericka was running with 50-year-olds based on the way the gap that she created between her and her opponent. So it was a well executed race. Awesome bounce back from Shericka from that stellar. That was totally a stellar performance.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just saying, viewers and listeners, if you're just tuned in, welcome to the Voices in Education. Please give this video a like, let's share, hit that subscription button. And we would love to hear from you too. So if you'd like to share in the live chat about this win and what it means for you, or if you want to share as it relates to the specific topic that we're talking about in terms of, bouncing back from disappointment or a failure, you can also share in the live chat as well. I have on the phone here Rurian, and we're having a good conversation about bouncing back, being resilient, the ability to withstand or recover quickly from difficult situations. And so we're looking at Shericka's win there and how she did not allow that 100-meter final there, that 100 meters final, to define what happened today in Budapest. And so in terms of disappointment, we need to understand that how we react to a disappointment can determine how quickly we bounce back, or if we bounce back. And so if this is your first time here again, welcome. I would love to give you a warm Voices in Education welcome. If you type in the live chat, I'll definitely recognize you and welcome you. Please like this video, hit that subscription button. This community is also about supporting students. So if you subscribe to this channel, that definitely helps us in terms of, continuing to support students. And you can definitely check out the content that is on the channel as well. So welcome to this space. We would love to hear from you. So Rurian, we have been talking, about Shericka here and how quickly she bounced back and not allowing that to set her back in terms of that 200-meter run. But overall, what do you think about Shericka now in the context of the championships moving forward? So we saw the 4x100 meters relay, the heats, and Jamaica did very well moving forward. So do you believe that Shericka is going to bring this strength and this, statement to that 4x1?
Well, I certainly hope so, and I hope that the sort of attitude that she brought out in this 200 meters final will be the same attitude that she will bring over to this 4x100 race. And I'm not only wanting that to happen, I want her to influence other runners as well, because it's a lot. I think track and field is a lot about bragging rights. The fact that they lost the 100-meter race to Shakari, Jamaica felt a bit of a dent in their ego. And I think they are really set on, redeeming themselves. So Shericka winning that 200 meters, that's a good step in that direction. And I'm thinking, because I want to go for that 4x100 relay pole as well, just to show that yes, we're Jamaicans and we run sprint. So I think that's the kind of attitude that they're going to go in race with. So I know the 4x100 relays are they're going to be interesting to watch because there's some really wonderful teams in it. But I think the Jamaicans have a lot to do. And I think Shericka has a lot to do with that. I think even I think Shelly was, she's not having the best year for sure, but you know,
But
she didn't want to lose to Shakai. I think she would feel a little bit more comfortable losing to Shericka than the fact that Shakai beat both of them
as you
in the
as you
same
spoke
years.
about Shelly, I heard an interview. I don't know which one, but yes, it was after the 4x1 relays, and I don't know if it was a Jamaican media personnel, but there was a question in terms of asking, coming back from that 100-meter run, and she mentioned something along the line that I am not able to see who is behind me, and I got the button in, first place, so I just run. And I found that to be a very meaningful statement because in that 100 meters, they weren't able to see that Sha'Carri was coming. Like Sha'Carri, because if they knew that Sha'Carri was coming, especially for Shericka, I felt that that would have been a different, a different 100. But I guess
Different
we'll
race.
get to see that next year in less than 11 months at the Olympics. That is going to be interesting.
Yeah. I think that one's going to be in Paris.
Yes, Paris. Yes.
Paris.
And so that's and I guess that's a part of bouncing back too, because in the context of Shericka now, bouncing back from what I will call a small but big disappointment, and she now regained this strength, this confidence. I don't think she doubted herself with the 200 because in her press conference, she said, the 200 is my baby. The 200 is my baby. So the 200 is Shericka's baby. So she knew that she had to do everything possible to take care of this baby, and so she did just that. The baby is well taken care of, gold milk and all. And so we see that. And with the 4x100, I'm just expecting great things and praying that they bring around that stick. That I feel like that is very important, just for them to bring that stick around, because but for that, then it's going to be drama. And so we know that the speed is there, and so we just want Team Jamaica to bring that stick around for sure.
Yeah, I really want that to happen as well, and desperately want. But based on what you shared about Shelly, I was just thinking, and I said I had to share this with you. I know you might call it gems, but this just popped in my head now, and I think this is worthy of sharing on this platform. So I was thinking that when Sha'Carri beat Shericka and Shelly in that 100 meter, it was so hard for Shericka
to digest,
to come to terms with that situation. So what came into my head is that you want to be beaten knowing that you're doing your best.
Absolutely.
And that's what hurts. When somebody beats you when you're doing your best, when you have you say, well, at least I did my best, and you'll be better to deal with it. However, if you are beaten and you're not doing your best, it's gonna hurt. And I think that's something that we need to bear in mind, that you need to be doing your best.
Definitely, that's a very, as you said, another gem. Because That's it. You don't want somebody to be knowing that you did not give it your best shot and then you're taken out. So you miss out, on that big success. And we're not saying that Shericka and Shelly did not do well, because come on, I am not able to go there and run. Not even for a second, people. But what we're saying is that, sometimes I'm sure Shelly and Shericka, they went to that final to win. And, disappointments, failure. And it's not, I won't categorize the 200-meter in Shelly and Shericka's context as a failure, but a disappointment where, you were going expecting to win. And Shelly will tell you, once I show up to compete. And that is interesting. That is important, sorry. And I really love that about her. She's going to show up and she's going to give it her best shot, right? And so if her best shot is bronze medal, she's happy with that, knowing that she gave it her best shot. So I kind of understand what you're saying, that Shericka would be a little bit disappointed, in the sense that maybe she felt that she did not give the 100-meter, that finals, her best shot. And so in that context, it caused that kind of disappointment. I really get that you're saying that. So welcome if you're just tuning in. We're having a great conversation here about Shericka's 200 meters win there in Budapest, and how that is teaching us a valuable lesson about bouncing back from disappointment or failure. If this is your first time here, welcome again. Please give this video a like. Please hit that subscription button. Your support will definitely help this platform to continue to support students. And we're just trying to grow so that we can continue and expand in that way as well. So welcome to this safe space. It's a safe space where we can share and learn from each other. I would love to hear from you. If you want to share, you can share in the live chat. You can also phone the WhatsApp number that is on screen. I would definitely love to hear from you. But please do not leave without giving this video a like. And if you're new to this space, just hit that subscription button. Just remember that your investment is safe with Voices in Education. I have with me here on phone Rurian, and Rurian has been sharing some wonderful gems with us in terms of, this context. So we're pretty much at the point where we were saying that, if you're going to lose, you want to give it your best shot. You don't want to lose knowing that you had more in the tank. And we were talking about Shelly, that, once Shelly shows up, and she said it, once she shows up, she's going to compete. She show up to compete and she's going to do her best. So we're saying that in the context, and Rurian was suggesting that perhaps Shericka felt disappointed because she did not give it her best, knowing that she could run like the 10-6, she's in that kind of form. She's probably thinking that I did not give that 100, final the best that I got. So there was something more in the tank that I could give, which did not happen. But the beauty of that is that Shericka did not allow that situation to define the 200, final, that moment for the 200. And so we're saying, sometimes as people, as individuals, we need to sometimes give ourselves some space and grace and try to figure out what has caused the problem in terms of the disappointment or the failure. And importantly, how we react to the disappointment can determine how quickly we bounce back, or if we bounce back. Right, Rurian?
Yes, I agree with that statement. It will definitely determine how quickly one bounce back. And I like the fact that you mentioned that time away. That time away sometimes works for you just to clear your head, get away from the situation for a while. That sometimes open up your thoughts to better strategies to conquer whatever problem that you're facing in your life, or in this case for Shericka, in order to regain her crown at the top of 200 meters level. So you just need to step away, refocus, and execute. And that's what she did. Sometimes you keep trying, you try, and you get exhausted. So you're not giving your fullest because you're trying constantly. But when you're trying, you need to sometimes take a break, assess what you're doing before you go, instead of keep doing the same thing over and over. So, trying, even in trying, you have to be strategic in order to get the results that you desire.
Yeah, definitely. And that is important, and that is why it's important to figure out, what has caused the failure in terms of creating a plan to move forward. And so that is important too, because if it is that we don't understand and we keep trying and repeating the same mistake, then we're going to probably get the same result. And while you were talking, what came to me was the fact that when Shericka said, I stayed off the media, sometimes we need to shut out people, like in the sense where we allow everybody, because I figured that she's going to think that, oh, everybody's going to have their own take of what happened in that race, and she's the only person really can tell you how she really felt. We are just pretty much assuming or trying to draw some inferences. And so sometimes in the midst of disappointment, for some of us, we need support, right? We need that support to keep us grounded, and just knowing that we have our little corner. We have our little corner. But sometimes we need to shut out, right? And I'm seeing more and more genius saying, shut out the distraction for real. Definitely more and more. We need to lock it down. Sometimes we need to shut out the noise and just focus, because sometimes only you know what is best for you. And if you have a bag of people, yes, more and more I tell you this and I tell you that and I tell you that, it becomes so loud and confusing and frustrating. So sometimes you just have to shut out and say, okay, I am going to do what is best for me. I am going to do what I know I can do, and I just can't take the nice right now. I just can't take the bagger. And so that is important too. But you have to know yourself. You have to know who you are, and you have to know when to reach out. You have to know when to reach out for support, and you have to know when to shut yourself in. Sometimes you don't want to shut down yourself when you have not, for example, you have reacted to a disappointment in a negative way, and you're allowing that disappointment to just cloud, overshadow everything else. You are not able to move on. And so again, we just want to remind you that, what happens in the past, we can't change it. We can't do nothing about it. We can't do nothing about it. So if Shericka getting that silver medal, what she can do about it? She can't go back there, go tell them, say, oh, you have to go run back the race because me never put out my best. It done and gone. What's in the past is in the past. She can't go back, go tell them, say, listen, me never get to run my best, so we need to run that back. It doesn't work like that, and that's life. Life is just that journey where things are going to happen. We're going to make mistakes, we're going to experience disappointments or failures, but it's how we react to them, knowing that we cannot go and change it. We can't erase it. It's there. We can't do anything about it. Time, we can't go back in time, right? but we know that tomorrow is coming and we can prepare for tomorrow. And again, we can make all the preparations, So think about Shericka. Shericka, put in the work. She went on the circuit. She did Diamond League, she was running, she was doing what an athlete, was expected to do in a season, to peak at the right time. And yes, she was peaking, but she wasn't expecting that, boy, if I shut down early, for example, somebody's gonna run past me, or so that, and that is important. It's just like Shelly too. Shelly, no one wants to show up not being 100%, but there are injuries and these things happen. It's a part of the game, and similar in life, we're going to have challenges, roadblocks, but sometimes it's again how we react to it, knowing that we cannot change what has happened in the past. But for sure, we can try our best to prepare for the future. But again, we need to give ourselves space and grace, because there are unexpected things that can happen that we do not anticipate. And again, if things happen that we cannot change, we just cannot change them. We just have to try and understand why they happen. So in terms of what might cause this problem, and just try to create that plan in terms of moving forward. So how are you going to refocus for the future? How are you going to refocus for tomorrow? And so that is definitely important there. Rurian, I'm coming back to you.
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? We're pretty much there now in terms of wrapping up, in terms of, bouncing back. What would you like to see happen tomorrow in terms of the 4x1? I am always jumping up in a lot. God, when Mrs. Shericka, Lego the pack. Oh my God. I was so excited, happy, and happy, and I jumping up and down and run, Miguel. Yes, yes, yes. So, and for me too, as a fan, as a Jamaican, a patriotic one, a very, very patriotic one, like I feel like I was heartbroken. Like I felt that disappointment, I felt sad because but in that moment and just reflecting, I was like, this needed to have happened in some shape or way, because when I see the love between the lady like Shericka and Shakari, well, among them and Shelly, I was happy for that, because I think it was what, Eugene, when Oregon, the media and what was being put out there, like, there was some rivalry. So I was happy for that. And then I have a photo here. Let me see if I can go to that photo. You'll see that there when, after Shericka's win there, Shakari went over, and it was just amazing to see them hugging and the love there between the two of them. I really love that. And this is next shot there. And I have this one. It was so nice to see the ladies just hugging each other, and that's beauty, that's beauty. And what I noticed is that the 100 meters, that final, it was America won and Jamaica second place and the bronze. And then in the 200 meters, it was Jamaica won and America silver, bronze. Did you notice that?
Well, you're the one pointing that out to me. I didn't notice that. But, I guess things have turned on their heads in a sense in that regard. So, yeah. that's I'm just happy that we got that win in. That's really important for us. Can't wait for a few other girls to go up and support Shericka and the other sprinters who are seasoned in the team in that regard.
Definitely, it was just beautiful to see. And again, that's a lesson from bouncing back to today for you, tomorrow for me, and that is important. And we saw that because the 100 meters, yes, it was the Americans, but 200 meters, Jamaica. And we saw that. So Shakari got one, and then Jamaica, we had silver, bronze. And today, Shericka got one, and America got the silver, bronze. So there's an exchange, is no robbery. So, Ruren,
Not at all.
oh, not at all. Any final words? And I'm checking the live chat too. Any final you can share in the live chat? We're about to just end this conversation. Please do not leave without, liking this video and hitting that subscription button. We're about to wrap this up, and hopefully tomorrow we can be here talking about the 4x1 and see what lesson we can take away from that one. But I'm going to allow you to I'm going to allow you to give your final thoughts, Ruren.
Oh, no problem. So, just before I go, I just want to say thanks to all the persons who have, logged on and shared such, awesome thoughts about this situation. And what I want to say is that, no matter what situation that you're going through, you have that opportunity to bounce back. Just keep trying, keep working, keep re-strategizing, so that you're able to do your task that you have ahead of you. And I wish the Jamaican track all the best for tomorrow. Hopefully we can celebrate a few more gold medals, flash medals tomorrow.
Definitely. I am with you on that one for sure. And I'd like to say to all the viewers and listeners, thank you so much again for coming over. Thank you so much for sharing. And we love to see you, being a part of this community. So it's a safe space where we share and learn from each other. So don't forget to just like and hit that subscription button. And just a reminder that we are also about, supporting students. So your subscription will definitely help us to continue to support students or to expand, in doing that. So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much, everyone. Please take care and blessings. See you in the next live. All right. So I'm just going to be here just sharing my slides until that runs out, and we'll just sign off. So thanks again, everyone. And I'm seeing more juniors there saying blessings to you too. And Rurian, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Okay, we'll chat.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that you can listen to the different voices in education. Stay tuned.